Set in an alternate 1985 where the Cold War looms large and the threat of nuclear annihilation hangs over the world, Watchmen. Chapter 1 introduces us to a gritty, morally complex universe where superheroes, once revered, have been outlawed. The story begins with the brutal murder of Edward Blake, a retired government agent, who is thrown from the window of his high-rise apartment. The investigation into his death sets the stage for a sprawling narrative that intertwines personal vendettas, political intrigue, and the fragile state of a world teetering on the brink of collapse. The film opens with a montage that sets the tone for the story, blending historical events with the alternate reality of the Watchmen universe. We see the rise and fall of costumed vigilantes, known as masks, from their golden age in the 1940s to their eventual outlawing in 1977. The montage is set to Bob Dylan's "The Times They Are A-Changin'," underscoring the shifting tides of power and morality. This sequence not only grounds the audience in the world but also hints at the larger themes of legacy, justice, and the cost of heroism. Enter Rorschach, a trench-coated vigilante with a shifting inkblot mask who serves as both narrator and moral compass. Rorschach is a man of uncompromising principles, viewing the world in stark black and white terms. He takes Blake's death personally, seeing it as a sign of a larger conspiracy targeting former masks. Rorschach's investigation leads him to reconnect with his old comrades from the disbanded group known as the Minutemen, now living vastly different lives. One of these former heroes is Dan Drayberg, also known as Night Owl, a reserved and somewhat melancholic man who has hung up his costume and lives a quiet life of regret and nostalgia. Drayberg represents the everyman of the story, a hero who once fought for justice but now struggles with his place in a world that no longer values what he stood for. His interactions with Rorschach reveal the tension between their differing philosophies, Rorschach's rigid moral code versus Drayberg's more pragmatic, humanistic approach. Meanwhile, we are introduced to Adrian Veidt, also known as Ozymandias, the smartest man in the world. Veidt has retired from crime fighting and turned his genius toward building a corporate empire. Charismatic and enigmatic, Veidt seems to have moved on from his vigilante past, but his calm demeanor and calculated actions suggest a deeper, more complex agenda. The story also delves into the life of Laurie Juspexik, the second Silk Spectre, who is in a strained relationship with Dr. Manhattan, the only superhero with genuine superpowers. Dr. Manhattan, once a human physicist named John Osterman, was transformed into a godlike being after a freak accident. His ability to perceive time non-linearly and manipulate matter has made him a crucial asset to the US government, but it has also alienated him from humanity. Laurie, caught between her love for John and her frustration with his emotional detachment, becomes a key figure in the unfolding drama. As Rorschach's investigation deepens, he uncovers clues that suggest a larger, more sinister plot at play. The murder of Edward Blake is just the beginning, and the trail leads him to question the motives of those around him, including his former allies. The tension builds as the narrative weaves together the personal struggles of these characters with the looming threat of global conflict. The world of Watchmen, Chapter 1, is one of moral ambiguity, where the line between hero and villain is blurred. The film explores themes of power, responsibility, and the consequences of playing God, all set against the backdrop of a society on the edge of collapse. The characters are flawed, complex, and deeply human, even those with superhuman abilities. Visually, the film is a striking blend of noir aesthetics and comic book stylization, with a muted color palette punctuated by moments of vivid imagery. The action is brutal and visceral, reflecting the harsh realities of the world these characters inhabit. The score, a mix of period-appropriate tracks and haunting original compositions, enhances the film's atmosphere of unease and tension. Watchmen, Chapter 1 is more than just a superhero story. It's a meditation on the nature of heroism, the cost of justice, and the fragility of humanity. As the first chapter in this epic tale, it sets the stage for a narrative that is as thought-provoking as it is thrilling, leaving the audience eager to uncover the truth behind the conspiracy and the fate of its characters.